Yep, this is disappointing. Obviously, just didn't really do anything probably well enough over the course of the game and in any phase to put ourselves in position to win. I think the early pick six was not good. They'll put you in a hole that early. We didn't tackle well. We didn't rush well. At the end of the day, didn't do enough good things to put ourselves in any position to win the game. So don't really have much to add. You guys go ahead.
Realistically, Brian, how many more opportunities do you think you guys are going to get to get this thing right, given how difficult it's been?
I don't really worry about that, Buck, to be honest. My focus is on trying to make sure our football team is in as good a place as possible, and the rest of that stuff is what it is. I don't think about those things, and you really can't. I mean, this is hard enough as it is to put those other things and think about that. It doesn't do anybody any good. So I just go to work and work as hard as I can. I put as much effort as I can into this, and that is what it is.
Brian, what happened on the field goal attempt, the delayed game before halftime?
Yeah, we went back. I was going back and forth, but we were talking about going for it or kicking it, and that's a kick that Sly's made, and a chance to make it a 17-9 game in that moment. It's a hindsight thing. If you go for it and get it, great. If you go for it and don't, then you're in the same spot. And thought we had a chance to get points there. Sly's been really reliable from deep. He's a bit of a weapon for us, and he's been that way thus far in this season. And then we went to kick it, and they were waiting for some operational things to uncover, and just like to go faster. It obviously had no intention to take a delay game there. Didn't want that to happen. Obviously, it looks really bad at the end of the day, and that was not the intention to do that. So wanted to be able to kick it.
Once you call timeout there, I mean, don't you know what you're doing? Shouldn't you have your personnel on the field?
Yeah, certainly. We were going back and forth and wanted a minute to think about it. I was going back and forth between the fourth down call and the field goal, and decided to go take points in that particular situation. And the operational part of it to kick it on time didn't happen.
What's the benefit of having your offensive personnel on the field after the timeout?
Because I hadn't decided yet at the moment on what we're going to do.
I mean, how could you have their timeout, your timeout, and still not have decided?
Like I said, we were having a couple different conversations about it, and ultimately that was a decision we made.
What kind of message, though, you think that sends? Like, not going for it on fourth and not going for it. What message does that send to your team?
I don't know. I don't know what message that sends. I was trying to take points and make it a 17-9 game at the half. That was my intent. So I don't know.
I guess the biggest downside, not going for it, and failing.
The same thing that happened when we missed the field goal. To probably get the ball back in pretty good field position and not too far away from getting points, and that's exactly what happened. So, again, hindsight, it doesn't work. We don't make the field goal. We don't have to kick it off, and we don't get a chance to go for it, so we don't know if we get it or not. And ultimately, if it doesn't work, you're in the same place. And the same conversation applies on the flip side: is that if we go for it and don't get it, then the question is going to be why didn't you try Sly there from that distance? He's been good from there. So, it's a hindsight thing. We didn't make the kick, and we don't look good for it, but I thought that was the right thing, was to try to take points in that moment and make it a one-possession game.
What happened, it seems several times that they would use a little rollout where they would just flip it out into the flat over, and Demi kind of got caught in no man's land several times. What was going on there that was happening that wasn't supposed to happen?
Yeah, it's a team that, they've run the ball well so far over the course of the season. We did a lot of the same things offensively. We had a few of those exact same type of plays. They're complements to your run game, and they've run the ball well. And when you're trying to stop the run, you are susceptible to some of those boot actions and naked actions. And again, they're not usually explosive plays, but they keep them efficient, and those are the things when you're trying to fit and play the pass. Those are the conflict you get put in, and that's the NFL. That's playing, first and second down defense, trying to stop the run and play the boot action. So again, we had similar plays offensively. We got to do a better job containing those things for sure, but just frustrating overall at the inability to get stops when we needed to on defense.
Why not defer?
I'll leave the reasons for that. I'm going to go too far into detail, but at the end of the day, try to take the ball, see if we could get off to a fast start, see if we couldn't get going offensively, put it in our offense's hands to go try to do something. Obviously, that did not work, but that was the intent, was to try to see if we could get a lead on a team that wanted to run the ball and see if we could swing it in our favor.
What happened on the pick, and I guess after that, how did you feel like he sort of returned from that?
Yeah, he bounced back. That's one of the things he does well. He doesn't flinch when those things happen. It was the third play of the game. There's a lot of football left at that point. So just the decision making, it was just he's going to try to check the ball down, and he's got to see the defender sitting there. I don't know. I have to ask him exactly how he saw it, but it's one of those things where you put the ball in harm's way like that. It's an easy interception on a check down. Sometimes it's better to throw it at his feet and eat it or punt it, so you can punt it. But yeah, those are decisions. He hasn't had a lot of those, but that one got him.
When do you stop relying on Calvin based on the degree to which he's hurting the team?
I'm not going to stop relying on him. He's got to help us. He's got to do his part. We're going to keep throwing the ball to him. He's going to keep putting him in position to make plays. It's the same thing. When a guy doesn't perform his best, they got to find a way to pull themselves out of it, and we got to find a way to help him. And at the end of the day, he's still a really good player, and we're still going to need him. And if we're going to claw our way out of the spot that we're in, we're going to need everybody in there to do it. And Calvin's going to be a big part of that. And he's got to find a way to get his confidence back up and perform. But certainly never going to shy away. He's a big part of our offense, and we need him.
For your side of things, how do you help Calvin?
I think you got to keep coming to him. You got to keep throwing the ball. The hard part is that these things don't show up. Sometimes in practice, and all of a sudden in the game, it's a problem. So you got to keep working. It's like a hitter in a slump. He's in a bit of one right now, and he's got to find a way to get out of it. And whatever that is, extra time after practice, whether it's making sure he's catching balls on the jugs, all those things are all a part of it. And a lot of times it's an individual effort. But I still believe in Calvin, and that's part of it too. He's got to feel that the guys believe in him, the quarterback believes in him, and you got to keep working to go back to him, and he's got to come do his part.
What about your disappointment maybe in a lot of different aspects? Had better moments in the first couple of games. How come you think it was today?
It's Indy's playing really well on offense, and they're moving the ball at a pretty rapid rate, and we. Every time we had an opportunity, whether it was on offense to answer or on defense to answer, we never get ourselves back into the swing, and we couldn't make the answer that we needed on either phase, and it got away from us. And they're playing well. I thought we had opportunities. It was confident going into the game, but we still can't. We haven't done enough good things in any phase. The penalties are still continue to be a problem. You turn the ball over for a touchdown. We miss tackles. We haven't got the quarterback on the ground enough. All those things factor in, and you got the result that we had today.
What are some of the ways that you can clean up some of the procedural and penalty issues that have plagued the team the first 3 weeks?
Well, some of the things we got to do a better job understanding, motions and formations and being set. I think we got called twice for illegal motion, and we weren't set. We got to do a better job doing that. That's an easy thing. That shouldn't be a problem. But when you're checking a protection or you're moving the back, and then there's a motion involved, some of that stuff are things that Cam's understanding too. When you got a lot of moving parts in a third down, that you have to have in this league to be able to go against the defenses you got to play against. So that's part of it, and then part of it is we got to do a better job just doing the little things right, and we haven't done that enough, and that's disappointing for the for the amount of time we emphasize and talk about it.
We had three veterans, with the struggles that you've had in all phases of the game. Do you feel like there's still the confidence and the buy-in coming from everybody in the locker room?
Yeah, I don't think. The one thing I know about our guys is they fight and they work, and we fought in that game. We fought as hard as we could, and ultimately didn't play well enough to win. But I don't have any questions about guys' buy-in. I know how they perform. I know what they are in the building. I know how they work, and we just got to find a way to play better on Sundays at the end of the day. And that's everybody. We got to coach better. We got to play better. All that stuff matters. But I don't have any doubts about what these guys do and think at this moment.
Three veterans missed tackles on the longest Taylor touchdown run. How hard is it to survive that? What's your message to them?
Well, and we've missed too many tackles through 3 weeks to begin with. I think we've had moments of really good defense. We've had moments of really good tackling, and at the end of the day, you got to do it for the entirety of a game. And having guys miss tackles is not something that we expect. And again, Jonathan Taylor's a good back. I give a little bit of credit to him as a player, but we got to do a better job getting him on the ground, and we didn't do that.
Well, I told the running back the wrong route first, and then when I got to him, I threw it, and then right when I threw it, I seen him. So, I knew bad play was there. But, at the end of the day, I knew the time would come out through an interception. Just how we responded from it, we did.
How tough a day was this for you in your mind, just as a team, and how do you get through it?
I mean, he just got to keep working, honestly. We put ourselves in a hole, starting off 0-3, something that we got to climb ourselves out of. But it's all learning stuff, especially from my standpoint, the offense standpoint as a whole, and then on the defense side of the ball.
After the two timeouts before the delay of game with the field goal scenario before halftime, you urging the call from the sideline there? Were there some indecision that cost you the delay there? What were you thinking as that whole thing was unfolding?
I'm just thinking if you call it a play, I'm finna call it in the huddle. And so just really just trying to wait to see what we're gonna do. End up kicking the field goal, didn't go our way. But at the end of the day, Joey get the opportunity again, he'll make it.
But do you see the clock was ticking? Did you know you guys were kind of in trouble against the clock there?
You saying on the delay part? Yeah. But I mean, he's made that field goal in practice, so I wasn't really tripping about it on the sideline. But he'll make it next time.
Yeah, it looked like you, Tyler, and Calvin were all kind of talking in midfield near the end of the game. Just curious what that conversation was, if it was at all about trying to get out of this hole that you've now put yourself in.
Just really us coming closer together. And that's just every day throughout the process. We got to continue to stick to it. We got to continue to be around each other. We got to continue to hold each other accountable. And that's just really us three taking a moment right there, just talking about just what all of us have to do better. From our situation, both us three talking, then just as a whole, how we feel we got to get better as. And Coach Callahan, he addressed that in the locker room. So, we just, going to watch the film, flush it, and then we got to try to get a win against a good team.
You talked really positively about the relationship you have with Callahan. Through 3 weeks, has it been what you expected in the on-field relationship?
Yeah, it's been what I've expected the whole time. He's a cool guy. He doesn't get too high, too low on the sideline like me. But I think the biggest thing is just us just executing. We haven't done that at a high enough level to win football games.
What do you say to him, when you have these drops? Like, I know you say, hey, look, I'll make a bad throw, but that conversation, what's that like? Between
Explain
you
it.
and Calvin after the drops. I know in the past you've said that, you've told whoever that you'll make a bad play, so don't worry about it. But is that consistently what the conversation is?
Yeah. And then he knows he has to be better. I know I have to be better. I can't put us down 7-0 at the start of the game. So, I put us behind the 8 ball, and the whole game we had to climb ourselves back until not win the football game. So it was kind of just really on my standpoint. Then on his, like, everybody wants to play back every game. Whether it's that play for him, it's a couple plays I want back in this game, but we can't get them back. At the end of the day, we just got to not make the same mistake next week.
Some of the going for it there on the 4th and 1, yes.
The delay game? I'm always trying to go for it on 4th down. That's really my mindset. But at the end of the day, that's coach. Like, he's going to put us in the best situation. Joey, he's made that kick before, so, he's going to get another opportunity this season. He'll make it.
It seems like sometimes the seam passes, seems like there's a little heat on them sometimes through the first 3 weeks. Is that something that you're working on, like with tape study, or is it something that you're going to have to, take some of the heat off of those passes so your receivers can come down with those?
It's not even that. It's just us just working them more in practice. And then, especially the one the Chig, I put it too hot for him. He had to make a crazy catch. I shouldn't have to put him in that situation to make that catch. So it's really all, depending on my accuracy. I had to be more accurate with the football. And, I mean, they're there. We just haven't connected with them from my side and the receiver side, but, we just got to continue working it.
Cam, this is your adopted now hometown team. To hear boos come down from fans, how does that make you feel?
I play football, so I'm always going to have my opinion. I'm not really too worried about that. And I'm trying to score points. We ain't do that enough to win the game today. But, I mean, if I was them, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be mad, too. I'm trying to win football games the same as theirs. So, if that's what they're going to do, we got to lock in as a group in the locker room and continue to motivate each other, push each other, and try to get a win.
What would you say is the confidence level of the offense and just the team overall through 3 games?
Confidence is high. We know we have a legit football team to make a run. It's really just us beating ourselves from technique to, I would say, offensively, just stand above the sticks. And at the end of the day, just come down to us just continuously trying to fight adversity. We can't put ourselves in that situation a lot of times. And the biggest thing is just penalties. We got to, be least penalized.
Can we look at the sacks and the pressures that you're under? When you look at some of the other younger QBs in the past, like that is quote unquote ruined them. What is it about you that will keep you from going down that same path?
A lot of the sacks are on me. I think that's the biggest thing, especially one at the end, just not getting the ball out. You see him throwing the ball, so it's just something that I got to continuously remind myself to just help him out, get the ball out. Then at times where I need to hold on to the ball, whether it's third down or so, then we all just got to continue to play together. But half of the sacks are on me. The end of the day, offensive linemen is gonna get beat. Like they playing get some good comp out there, so I just got to help them out, getting the ball out, and not letting them not taking a bad drop, but then making the angle easier for the DN.
So you would say self-accountability, self-awareness, that's what will keep you from going down the path of maybe a David Carr, a Josh Freeman, where early they had those type of struggles as far as getting sacked all the time and it ruined their career.
I would say that, and then just continuously motivating guys. They motivated me a lot, especially after the pick today, just knowing that we got you, and then just helping those guys out by getting the ball out.
How important have you found decisiveness to be? And are you doing better when you make a clear decision and go with it, and as opposed to the plays where you might hesitate a little bit?
I think I get better at that every week. And I would say like Coach Bo and Callie and Coach Nick, they've all just let me know what I need to do better to help the offense out. Because there was times today where we were moving the ball efficiently. But that's what we have to do throughout the whole season. We can't have highs and lows. We have to be more consistent.
When you were moving the ball, were you having the most success when you were being the most decisive?
Yes. Even when we weren't moving the ball when I was being decisive, it was all about, us just trying not to be in long situations, trying to stay out of them.
I was just going to say, how difficult is it to keep moving the chains when you're facing 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 7 on a regular basis?
Well, I mean, 3rd and 10 better being like 3rd and 20. So, I'll take that all day. But we have to consistently try and live in a 3rd and 5 world, 3rd and short world, because the top offense in the league, when they live in that world, they're just more efficient on 1st and 2nd down. So, that's what we got to do. We did it at times today, but we just got to do it consistent next week.